You know, the book of Solomon is a very interesting book because Solomon is one of the only kings listed in the Bible, at least, where it actually gives you the textbook on how he was trained. Because Solomon, from birth, was born to be a king. David said to Bathsheba, remember, Bathsheba's first son died. And David said, your next son shall reign in my place. And so from birth, Solomon was raised to be a king. And if you read the book of Proverbs, most of Proverbs is Solomon's recollection of what his mother taught him and his father instructed him in. He says things like this: when I was young, the only child in the sight of my father. Now, David had many sons. But he says, and the only son in the sight of my father, he instructed me in this, and he said to me, thus and thus. Think about it. One of the things he told him, just to give you an idea. If you were gonna really train princesses, let's say, oh, here's a great example. I love this right now. We have George Bush, and he's the son of a president. And it says us something that he knew he was going to be president when he was a kid. Can you imagine having a son or a daughter that you knew was going to be the president of the United States? Like, let's say a little blue angel flew in your room. It makes you deaf or dumb or whatever. You couldn't speak. Because you have the Zacharias experience. And he says, this child that your wife is carrying shall be president of the United States. He shall be great in the eyes of God. He shall make the crooked ways straight. Thus saith the Lord. And you say, well, how's that going to happen? And he goes, good, you won't talk until your child is born. You shall name him George. And she conceives, and you're like, oh, it's George. You shall be president of, and then you take him, first week to church, and he comes up to the front for baby dedication, and some prophet goes, the next president of the United States. And you're like, I knew it. He's going to be president at 8. You didn't get that. 8. Next president, 4-year terms, 8 years max. Okay. He's going to be president at 8. Anyway. And you become responsible to raise this child from birth to be president. That's exactly what happened with Solomon. One night, God comes to Solomon when his first year of being king. And he goes, this is like, rubbing the bottle 3 wishes. He goes, Solomon, ask anything, you can have it. 1 wish. And Solomon says, I'll take wisdom. Do you know why he asked for wisdom? Because Proverbs says, my father said to me, son, get wisdom. Go after her like silver. Treat her like gold. Son, in all you're pursuing, make sure you get it. In other words, don't just run after it. Make sure you actually apprehend it. He taught him that from the time he was, can you imagine? Some of the first words, some of the first training, Solomon's 2-3 years old. And his dad's already telling him, son, get wisdom. Because he said, when I was tender in the sight of my father, I was a little guy. And my dad said, son, get wisdom. And so now he's 40. And he has an encounter with God. God goes, you got 1 wish. Don't make a mistake. And he says, my dad told me if I ever got in this situation that I was to get wisdom. I'll take wisdom. And God says, because you didn't ask for riches or the head of your enemies or any of these other things, I'm going to give you everything because you asked for wisdom. How did he get that? Because his dad raised him. He knew he was going to be the next president of the United States. From birth, he was raised to be a king. One of the Proverbs says this, son, when you sit down and dine with the king, now, put a knife to your throat and do not desire his delicacies, lest he deceive you, and you fall into his destructive behavior. Now, think about it. Would you tell your son, now, son, when the next president when the President of the United States calls you up and wants to have dinner with you, make sure you put a knife to your throat, and the things he's serving you, don't let them deceive you. That's what Solomon was taught. Solomon was taught, son, when kings invite you to their table, not if, when. Listen, you don't get this. This is mentality. Son, not if kings invite you, when kings invite you. Why? Because he knew he was going to be a king. So are you. So are you. The other day I had this idea. It's kind of crazy, I know. Let me tell you where it kind of came from. I've been thinking about this for just, 3 weeks now. It's like such a message I need. I mean, you preach a lot of messages, and, let's be honest. Sometimes I preach things that I have down. It's like I went through this, I got this conquered in my life, and it's awesome. I can share from a place of strength. And it's cool because people are receiving it, but it isn't as cool in the sense that I'm not learning because I already got this. Pastor, what I'm talking about. There's other times when the Lord's talking to you and He's sharing with you, and you're like, as you're sharing, you're like receiving, because it's like, I need this as bad as anyone else does. So, because you're part of our flock and I'm one of the shepherds here, you're on a journey with me. You're on this journey with me. I remember a while back, this is many years ago now. I don't know how long. I'm terrible at time. But we had a Union 76 station. And once a year, they used to have, they were like conferences. What did they call those? I forget. Conventions. They would have conventions. And what they do is they wine you and dine you. And you would, and really what happened is everything you buy, they would take 0.5% of it, and it would go towards, I think it was 0.5%. They would take a percentage of everything you bought, and they would set it aside, and they'd take the money, and every year you would fly or go someplace, this really nice place that you could never afford on your own, but you paid for it a little at a time, just being killed softly. And so and then they would take you to this place that you could never afford to be in, and you would hang out there for 3 days while they told you about the new programs and the new products, and you would meet other dealers, and they would have people get up and give motivational speeches, and you would eat food that you could never possibly afford, and that sort of thing. Well, one time we went to, I don't even remember where it was, but someplace, San Diego someplace, and we walked into this beautiful hotel. Yeah, a Hotel de Coronado. Did I say it close to right? And we walked in there, and now you got to understand, we're living like totally hand to mouth. I mean, our kids have been pulled out of the Christian school 3 times because we didn't have tuition, and 3 times our friends rallied together and paid their tuition. I mean, literally, like, we don't know where Friday's food's coming. We're in that mode, right? And so we walk in, this is, you got a lot of kids, and you got no money. The kids are getting the clothes, the kids are getting the shoes, and you're getting whatever someone hands you. I'm not saying we were doing fine. We were doing great. There was no problem. I don't want to give you the wrong impression, because we had a great home, loved one another. But, there wasn't dressed up clothes. I mean, it wasn't like, well, I'll wear my best clothes. It's just, I'll wear my clothes. I'll wear my pair of shoes I got, And so we walk into this place, and it's got a terrarium in the center. You walk into this place, it's got a terrarium in the center. And this is probably one of those places, I don't know what it costs in those days, but nowadays you're talking about $400 or $500 a night. And we've paid for it little by little, so we haven't even realized the cost, right? We're going to be here for 3 days. We walk into this place, and immediately you feel dirty. We weren't dirty. We were wearing our best stuff, but are you following me? And you're looking around, and people are like, a guy comes up in a tux, and he's like, can I take your things? And I'm like, no, I'll carry them myself. You know what? Like Beverly Hillbillies living in Weaverville. Oh, I got those myself. I don't want anybody to carry anything, because I'm thinking, he's going to expect a tip, and we don't have anything close to that. But what it did in me is because I was a pauper, it reminded me of every place that I was paupering in. You know what I'm saying? I don't have money for a tip. I don't have nice clothes. These people have an education. I don't have one of those either. You know what I have is a really nice family in God. Nothing to do with their value system. And so I was thinking, wouldn't it be awesome to have like a school of ministry where you were trained in a palace? So that the day you walked in, all your stuff was right there. All the reasons why you shouldn't be here are right there. I mean, the atmosphere. You walk in and it's like a palace. The dinner that Lance and the team does for the homeless people? I want to tell you something. That's exactly how they feel. I mean, in a good way. But the value, there's a sense of value we have for them, but in them, it pushes a lot of buttons like, I don't belong here. Or do I? Well, these people think I do. And they go through that. Like the whole night, they're like, I don't belong here. And Lance gets up and says, you do belong here. You're important to us. And they're like, wow, ooh, am I or am I not? Or maybe I am. Or why are you guys doing this for us? Why? Because I don't have any nice clothes. Yeah, what do you want from me? Wouldn't it be awesome if we walked into a place? I bet you it feels like that at the Crystal Cathedral. I bet if you could actually get all the way through those doors, that it would push some buttons in you that if you could get past, you'd be a different person. I mean, if you could keep out of arrogance and pride and just let it touch that pauper thing that's supposed to be dead in you. And every time you walk through the doors, you're like, can you imagine walking through those doors finally and saying, I belong here? I was raised to influence the world for the kingdom of God. I was born to be an influence and to spread the kingdom. There's something special about me. And you know what? There's something special about you too. It's funny because I was sharing at the first staff meeting, which was at the school ministry, I was sharing this whole thing about paupers and kings and all. And so Bonnie's awesome. You guys know Bonnie? She's awesome. We are so blessed to have her on our team. A little funny story. I think I've told this before here, but 3 years ago or 4 years ago, she was on the first school of ministry, the very first school of ministry we had. She comes in, and she's from out of the area, and she comes into my office, and her husband sent her, and they own a car dealership. And so she sits in, and she comes in, and she's all dressed up, and she sits next to me, and she says, "Well, I'm considering coming to school ministry, and I would like to find out your credentials." How many of you heard the story? I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So she takes out her little notepad, and she's all organized. She's got a little planner, and she says, "My husband would be paying for it, and he wants me to get all the information, and I'll bring it back to him, and we'll talk and pray about whether I'm supposed to come." Cool. Good. That's awesome, Everyone else is, "Please let me in." She's like, "I'm going to find out if you're going to get me." So I'm like, she's pretty confident. So she says, "Where did you go to school?" She had a list of questions her husband wanted to know. Where was your training? I said, Sunnyvale High School. She doesn't look up. She doesn't laugh. She goes, "Oh, no, I meant, where was your theological training done?" I said, "What's the matter, you?" And she looks at me, and she's not, she doesn't know my sense of humor yet. She goes, I said, "Yeah, I got a degree in hammerology." She goes, "Oh," looks back down. I said, "I have no theological training." "Oh, okay." Who are you licensed through?" "I'm not." None. Okay. What, you haven't had theological, no. What ministry school did you go to? Did you go to YWAM or Genesis or? None. We get through about the 6th question. She puts her notebook away. It's like, I can probably remember all this. Don't need to write this down. She puts it away and she looks at me and she says, I still want to come. I said, okay. She said, yeah, there's something special about you. I want to come. So anyway, she ends up coming. I needed to tell you that to just give you an idea. This is Bonnie, right? So we're sitting around the table. This is, not with all these scriptures and stuff, but just that incident that night and that thing with Nancy, that Nancy shared with me and all that. So I'm just kind of sharing it with my friends, with my team. And she listens to about an hour of it. I can keep looking over there and I can see that she's bothered. I'm not really sure why, but I could, there's probably 12 of us and 11 of us are totally into it. And she's bothered. So finally, when we kind of pause for a minute and there's a little place to say something, she says, can I say something? I said, sure, She says, I don't agree with what you're saying. I said, oh, well, what don't you agree with? She says, I don't think the issue is finding out that we're princes and princesses. I think the issue is making sure that other people realize who they are. And I stopped for a minute, and I said, do you remember this? I said to her, you know why you think that's the issue? She said, why? I said, because you were raised to be a princess. And when you're raised to be a princess, you want to do what Moses did, and you want to make sure that other people know that they are valuable also. And so you learn your whole life how to manifest yourself in a way that people feel welcome. It was like Princess Diana. Why did everyone love her? It wasn't because she was arrogant. It was because she was the princess that people could touch. And I said, so you grew up as a princess, so the lesson for you is how to make sure that people in your presence feel valued. But I was raised as a pauper, so I can't make other people feel valued till I know I am. And she goes, that's exactly right. See, if you're raised to be a princess or a prince, the issue is, all the stuff I'm talking about tonight, you're like, well, I'm sorry people feel that way about themselves. I work really hard to make sure that when I'm around people that they know I value them. It's like, yeah, you've got a whole different battle going on than we have. People like being around us because they're just like us. And we get down in the mud with them, so we're like mud wrestlers out here. Shooting paintballs at each other and stuff. It's fun to hurt people. And when you come in your little princess gown, you follow me? You come in your little princess gown with your little maidens on each side. And we just get up out of our mud puddle and we're like, you're in I still love you mode. Don't worry about my dress. That's a totally different mentality. It's a totally different mentality. And let me tell you something. That's the mentality, that's the war you're supposed to be fighting. I said, Bonnie, you're the only one in this room that's fighting the war that you're supposed to be fighting. Because you know who you are. And I didn't say it then, but I remember the interview. She's one of the only students I've ever had. She was interviewing me. Every student I have is like, oh, please, I'll do anything. I'm prophetic. I've been saved 3 times, baptized 7 times. I was dedicated as a child. I did something wrong once, but I can't remember what that was. And please take me. Oh, I'll do anything. I'll pay twice. I have all my money. She's like, I'm somebody, and I want to make sure I'm going to a school where somebody is going to be trained like somebody. I'd like to interview you. I remember when I was in financial trouble, one of the many times I was in financial trouble. Early on, the bank had loaned me $10,000, and the payments were $1,000 a month to repay. And when in the service station we were in, and when after about 4 or 5 payments, I got behind a payment. So the bank manager, who was a really cool guy, he calls me up and he goes, I think you need to visit me. I noticed you're on the default list. I'm like, oh no. He'll take my house. Oh, my firstborn's gone. Well, he can have the secondborn right now. She's not doing too well. We'll take the secondborn. That kind of thing. So I walk in there and I'm really nervous, and the bank manager, I'm totally in pauper mode, I can't pay this money back. I'm going to die. And he sits me down and he talks to me. He was very fatherly. He talks to me. Well, why are you behind? Da, da, da. Well, we did your financial statements that everything looked like you should be able to make this payment. You're not be able to make this payment. You're not making this payment. Yeah, I'm behind. I'm really sorry. He said, well, you're going to go see this accountant. He didn't ask me if I wanted to. He said, you are. You're going to go see this accountant. His name's Bill Watson. I said, I have him an accountant. Mouth, tongue stuck to my roof of my mouth. I'm about 23. Borrowed $10,000. I think the most money I've ever borrowed in my life. And he said, yeah. He said, I know you have an accountant, but no, you don't understand. This is an accountant. I said, oh, okay. He said, yeah. He said he came into my office about a year ago, and he said, I asked him how I can help him, and he said, oh, no. I've come here to help you. I'm checking out the banks in town. I'm interviewing them to find out what services they have and what attitudes they'll have towards their clients. And if I choose your bank, then it will benefit your business. And I will also be a resource for any of your clients who are in trouble. I'm like, okay. He said, so you'll be seeing him. You owe someone $10,000, whatever, your borrower is the lender's slave. So, okay, so I go see him. So I'm thinking, John Maxwell guy, right? I'll walk in this guy's office. He's crippled. He can't walk. He's not just is he crippled, but he's got some birth defect. I'm not trying to demean him. I'm just trying to describe the situation because this isn't a demeaning. I don't mean it demeaning. I'm just being my first impression. I walked in, I'm looking for Bill Watson. He's all, that's me. And he's all crippled up and he can't walk. And he's got major deformities also everywhere. And I walk in and I'm like, oh, he says, come on, sit down, I sit down there and he takes me through. Anyway, he's in our account for many years. Somebody forgot to tell him that he's supposed to be insignificant because the way he looks. I'm telling you, the guy's talking to me about my financial statements. The whole 2 hours I'm in there, I'm thinking, this little cripple man, he isn't this tall. Thinks he's somebody. And he convinced the bank president that he is somebody. Smokes like a fiend, looked like a glory cloud there. All I'm telling you is everything that you can think of that you shouldn't do to be a prince, he's doing wrong. He doesn't look like a prince. He's little. And he's bent up and he can barely write. And I'm sitting there and he's talking to me about my financial statements and I'm going through this thing. I'm like, how did a person so messed up get to be so important inside? And then how did he let everybody else know he's important? How do you convince my smart banker? Can you imagine him? I'm just thinking, I'm not trying to be funny. Can you imagine him the first day, wheeling up, because he has a wheelchair, wheeling up to the banker and letting the banker know he's all twisted up, he's deformed. Follow me now. He's deformed, he's all twisted up. He sits with the banker and he lets the banker know, I'm going to help you. And my banker's brilliant. He's been in business. Now, I think he just retired. But he was in business at the time, 30 years, in charge of one of the biggest banks in Bank of America. My banker's no idiot. And this little twisted up man convinced him that he was a prince. You know why? Because he was. Can you imagine how, it don't matter how Bill dresses up, Bill Watson, doesn't matter how he dresses up because he's never going to look like a prince on the outside. You understand? He could wear the best clothes, but there's some things that you can't hide. Are you following me? And yet somehow, because of what was inside, it manifests outside, and he instantly built trust in the president of the bank that he had something to offer. And you get this, my banker's not a believer. And neither was the guy. But when you're a prince inside, I don't care what it looks on the outside, people can tell. But I'm going to tell you another thing. It doesn't matter how you dress up. If you're a pauper, people know it. It's the way you carry yourself. You know what? It's kind of crazy, but you can wear a three-piece suit, dress up really nice, and people can tell you're a wannabe rich man. I'm serious. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? You can dress up and wear your it's kind of crazy because the people that are wannabes, they wear all the stuff. You know, I've been very close friends with 3 multimillionaires. And you would never know they're multimillionaires on the outside, but you would know they're princes. You would just not acquaint it with money because of the way they dress. You know how they dress? However they want to. You know why? Because they don't need to impress you, because inside they're impressed already. They know who they are, so they don't have to have your approval. And they carry themselves not like they don't care about you, but like they don't need you to like them. But I've also been very close friends with people who've always wanted to be rich. And, you know, it's like they have the whole kitchen sink on whenever they go anywhere because they want you to know that they got money. They're wearing all of it. Some of it might be borrowed, but they'll never tell you. This isn't about money. You understand? I'm just giving you metaphors. But have you ever met those kind of people? It feels like it. It feels like you're getting a snow job, a sales job. And you just want to say to them, why don't you just be yourself? Because that looks so stupid on you. Why don't you just stop trying to impress everybody and just be human? You know, just be normal. Bill was our accountant for many years. And I never, ever lost that sense of, there was a sense of nobility about him all the years I knew him. All the years I knew him. There was always a sense of nobility about him. He wasn't a believer. I ministered to him lots of times. There was always a sense of nobility. Anytime I walked, I'd have to push through the smoke, see this little man behind the table, all twisted up. But you know what? 30 seconds into the conversation, I wouldn't see him twisted up anymore. You'd sit there for a few minutes with him. Every time I walk in there, it's like, it would hit you like, because the deformity was so obvious. It would hit you. And you're in 30 or 40 seconds into the conversation, and the deformity's gone, and the real man is speaking to you. And I'm like, there is such a sense of nobility about this man. And I would always think, if I could only have that in my own life. If I could only have an understanding of who I am so that I could just be myself and relax. And I would expect people to like me. And I would act like it. I just want to see if there's anything else I was supposed to say. I use notes now because I often walk away from my sermons thinking, I wish I would have shared that story. And there is one thing I just want to read to you. Daniel 7. Listen to this. Isn't that good, you guys? Didn't a bunch of you guys need that? I honestly think, of course, I've thought this before, but I think this is the best message I've ever brought. Not articulated. I don't mean articulate. Now I'm embarrassed I said that. Because I meant it differently, because it's ministering to me. It's really helping me. Then I couldn't find the book of Daniel after that. It's like, pride comes right before the fall. Let me read you this chapter, verse 13 of chapter 7, You could really read the whole chapter, but I kept looking in the night visions. Verse 13, are you there? And behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man was coming. Now, I want you just to make a note. You know how you make a mental note? Make a mental note that one phrase, son, listen to this. Listen to me now. Son of Man. because I've read this for years and totally did not get it. Son of man, not son of God. And there's a reason why I'm going to highlight that in a minute. I kept looking into night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man was coming. He came up to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. And to him was given a dominion, glory, and a kingdom. You follow that? Who got the kingdom, the glory, and dominion? Son of Man, okay. That all the peoples and nations and men of every language might what? Serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. Whose dominion? Son of Man's, okay. Which will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will not be destroyed. As for me, Daniel, my spirit was distressed within me, and the visions in my mind kept alarming me. I approached one of those who were standing by and began asking him the exact meaning of all this. Okay, do you understand? There's an angel with him. He just had a vision. He doesn't know what it means. And so now he's about to ask the angel, now, okay, I saw this vision, one like the Son of Man, all this stuff. What does it mean? So he told me and made known to me the interpretation of these things. These great beasts, which you'd have to read before about the beasts. I didn't read that part. These great beasts, which are four in number, are four kings who will rise from the earth. But the saints of the Most High will receive the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever for all ages to come. Did you get that? Listen, let me just go back just so that I want the weight of this to fall on you. I kept looking into night visions, and behold, one like the behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man was coming. And he came to the Ancient of Days, and was presented before him. And to him was given dominion, a glory, and a kingdom, that all peoples and nations and men of every language might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that won't be destroyed. Now let me just go right down to the interpretation. But the saints of the highest one will receive a kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, for all ages, for all eternity. Then I desired to know the exact meaning of the four beasts, which were different than all the others, exceedingly dreadful, with teeth of iron and claws of bronze, which devoured, crushed, trampled down the remainder with his feet. And the meaning of the 10 horns which were on its head, and the other horn which came up before him, 3 of them fell, namely the horn which had eyes and a mouth, uttering great boasts, which were larger in appearance than all its associates. Listen to this. I kept looking, and the horn was waging war with the saints and overpowering them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was passed in favor of the saints of the highest one. Remember I said that we have an attorney, and this is all about what's legal? And I kept looking, and the horn was waging war with the saints, and he was overpowering them. And then how did it stop? Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was passed in favor of the saints. There's a court case right there. How did the oppression stop? A court case happened, and judgment was passed. Can you imagine Jesus standing there? And he says, Father, I'm sorry, but this oppression right here, they're being treated like slaves, and you said they obtained a kingdom, and it's supposed to last forever, and that all people might serve them. And you said, see right here, you said you have a dominion which will not pass away. A kingdom was one that won't be destroyed, that all peoples, nations of every language might serve him. Now, Father, I am the head, and they are the body. We are the Son of Man. And look, Father, what's happening over here? These are being overpowered, and I think it's being done illegally. And the judgment is passed, and the Father looks down and he goes, oh, yes, judgment is passed in favor of the saints. You can imagine the enemy, he stands in the courts. Remember that? You see him in the book of Zephaniah. He stands there and he goes, it says this, I saw Joshua the high priest standing before the Lord. And it says, and the Satan was standing at his right hand, and he was accusing him. And the Lord looked down from his judgment seat and said, Satan, I rebuke you. And then the Lord noticed that he was all in beat up clothes. And the Lord said, take off those clothes and give him royal robes. You follow me? Let me go on. And I kept looking, and the horn was waging war with the saints and overpowering them. He was actually winning. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was passed in favor of the saints of the highest one. And listen to this. And the time arrived when the saints took possession of the kingdom. The saints took possession of the kingdom. And he said, listen to this. And he said, the fourth beast will be the fourth kingdom on the earth, which will be different from all the other kings, and it will devour. You have to kind of read the other part of the prophecy to understand this one part. But I'm going to read it anyway because of the court cases that are in here. And he said, the fourth beast will be the fourth kingdom of the earth, which will be different from all the other kingdoms, and it will devour the whole earth and tread it down and crush it. As for the 10 horns out of this kingdom, 10 kings will rise. And another will rise after them, and he will be different from the previous ones and will subdue the 3 kings. He will speak out against the Most High and wear down the saints. Here we go again. Wear down the saints of the Most High. And he will tend to make alterations in the times, the laws, and they will be given into his hand for times and a half. But listen to this. But the court will sit for judgment, and his dominion will be taken away, annihilated, and destroyed forever. Let me finish. This is in the court case. This is how the court case is going to happen. Picture this. God's judge. There's a big court case. God passes judgment again. Listen to this. But the court will sit for judgment, and his dominion will be taken away, annihilated, destroyed forever. Then the sovereignty, the dominion and greatness of all the kingdoms of the whole earth will be given to the people of the saints of the highest one. I don't know if you got that. Some of you think I'm being arrogant. I'm reading the Bible. You would think that was going to be given to Jesus, wouldn't you? Then sovereignty, dominion, greatness of all the kingdoms under the whole heaven, not just the earth, under the whole heaven, will be given to the people of the saints of the highest one. All the dominions will serve and obey, listen to this, him. God sees us as one man. At this point, the revelation ended. As for me, Daniel, my thoughts were greatly alarming and my face grew pale, but I kept the matter to myself. Did you get that? You were born to rule and reign with him, and when he sees Jesus, he sees you. I've been saying that for years, but I just think I got it. When he sees Jesus, he sees you. He says the saints are going to get a kingdom. They're going to reign forever. And so it was given to him. And him is you. Listen, do you realize what this war is about? I just figured it out this last month. You realize what the war of the world is over? Who you are. Had God said, if you eat this tree, you'll be like God. Baby, don't you understand? You were born like God. You were born His likeness and His image. You don't have to eat a tree to be like God. You were born like God. If you're really the Son of Man, turn these stones into bread. Do something that Son of God would do. I don't need to impress you, Satan, because I am. I am. You didn't get that. I don't need to impress you because I am. You know why I don't have to wear those nice suits and all that fancy stuff and try to pretend like I'm rich? Because I am. My Father owns this kingdom. He's going to give this kingdom to me, and everybody that from everywhere is going to serve me, us, them, him. I've been raised up. You know why I was born? I was born to rule and reign. He's making all this stuff, and he's like, we got to have somebody rule this stuff. We need some managers of the universe. We better born some sons and some daughters. And the devil, he's still running around trying to figure out how to get you not to believe that you are a king and a prince, a queen and a princess. Because, remember, he said in the book of Ezekiel, I will be like God. I will rise up. I will be like God. And God said, no, you won't. I'm going to have a people who are born like me. And the devil's been running around for thousands of years. And you know why he hates you? Because you have what he wanted. He wanted to be like God, and you were born into it. He's jealous of your family line. He was born on the wrong side of the tracks and been mad about it ever since. And you were born on the right side, and he's been trying to convince you to come over on the wrong side with him and hang out in the mud with him. And he hates you, that's why. No one ever did anything awesome in the Bible till their name was changed or till they got the one that they got. You didn't get that. They got the one that they got. Jacob wrestles with an angel all night. Guy breaks his leg. Hello. Breaks his leg. He says, I'm not leaving. You're not leaving until you bless me. The angel's all, I got to be home by morning. And Jacob's all, you're going to be late. And he says, the angel says to him, what's your name? And he says, my name's Deceiver Jacob. No longer is your name Deceiver. Your name shall be Israel, a prince of God. And then, get this. I love this part. Israel goes, and what's your name? Why do you think he wanted to get his name? He just broke his leg. We're going to be judging angels. He's like, I'd like to have your name, son. What's your badge number? And the angel says, that's none of your business. Yeah, I'll remember you in judgment. Remember Paul says, don't you know that you're going to judge angels? Jacob knew, and he's like, son, what's your name? He's all, never mind. Abraham was Abram, and he never had any children till he was named Abraham, the father of many nations. Simon never was an apostle till he was named Peter. Simon means broken reed. Peter means you a rock. Saul never became an apostle till his name was changed to Paul. Hello? Are you with me? If you knew what Jacob knew, you'd get your arms around this, and it wouldn't matter what it cost you. You wouldn't leave till you got it. Because in your identity is your purpose. A whole bunch of people running around trying to figure out what they're supposed to do, but they haven't figured out what they're supposed to be yet. I could tell you, I could figure out what you're supposed to do in 10 seconds if you tell me what you're supposed to be. Because in I am is your manifestation. You know what you're supposed to do for a living? Manifest yourself. So Jesus did. He manifested himself. Every time he healed somebody, they said, how'd you do that? He said, I'll manifest myself. You go, oh, aren't we supposed to manifest Jesus? Let me tell you, he's the only one living in you. When you manifest yourself, you manifest him. Did you see Daniel 7? God has no problem saying the saints and the Son of Man all in the same, just gets it all twisted up. Jesus said this way, Father, I pray that I would be in you and they would be and you in me and they would be in us. Yeah. You know how you figure out what you're supposed to be doing? All you have to do is figure out what's your name. Your name's Abraham. You're going to be father of nations. Next. What's your name? My name's Peter. You're going to be a rock. Upon this rock will I build my church. The gates of hell won't prevail against it. Next. What's your name? Well, my name's Israel. You'll be a nation. You're a prince of nations. Next. What's your name? Gideon. For the Lord and for Gideon, a mighty man of valor. You go out and where are the miracles? Gideon, that would be you. You're a miracle worker. Son, get a life. Stand up there, son. You're looking like you've been down in the wine press. What are you doing like? Princes shouldn't act like that. Son, get out of there. I'm the smallest man. I'm the little. Get a life, Gideon. If you got this, you would know where your destiny lies. Because your destiny lies in who you are. Acts 1, Jesus said, wait for the Holy Spirit. When He comes upon you, you'll receive power so that you will be my witnesses. Not go witnessing. It wasn't about action. It was about person. Listen, they were already doing miracles. They didn't have to wait for the power to come so that they could heal the sick, raise the dead. They had already done that. What they had a problem with is trying to figure out if they should sit on his left hand, right hand, and what spirit they were of. The problem was that they were manifesting not themselves. In other words, they were doing miracles, but it was incongruent with who they were. Because there were a bunch of paupers hanging around with Jesus, trying to figure out, well, you get the right seat. I'm greater than you. You didn't do 2 miracles. I did 5 miracles. You only did 1. Yeah, but I raised the dead. When you just healed eyes. Well, I would have healed them. No, you what? No. What are you guys talking about? Nothing? So they didn't need power to do miracles. They needed power to be a miracle. And I'm going to tell you something. Listen to this. I want to finish with this. After they get the miracle power, they're walking to the gate beautiful. Listen to this. I'm going to tell you something. You look at the account. They never healed people like this before. No, I mean they healed people. They healed the same kind of people, but they never healed them in this way. The guy's lame, and he goes, this is healing 1, right? 101. Just receive power to be. The guy goes, you got some money? They go, pastors, we don't have no money. But what we do have, listen to this. What we do have, we give to you. We possess this. Dad owns this whole place. And I'll tell you something. What we have, we'll give to you. In the name of Jesus, get up and walk. Yeah. I said, son, get up and walk. Says they helped him. Says the man walked, leaped, and praised God. He walked. He got physically healed. He leaped. He got emotionally healed. And he praised God. He got spiritually healed. You know why? Because they had all that in them. He walked. He leaped. He praised God. Hey, what we have, everything we have, we give you. Son, get up. You know why he got up? Because it was a manifestation of who they were. And said, well, that was a manifestation of Jesus. That's who they are. Jesus, Christ means little Jesus, little Christ. The anointed, the little anointed children of the King, running around, spreading the anointing everywhere. I want to tell you something. If you have a good identity, you can't separate your identity from Him. You mean, I'm Jesus. No, you're His Son. Jesus said of Himself in Hebrews 1 that He was the manifestation of the Father. When He manifests Himself, He manifests the Father. Thomas says, show us the Father. He goes, huh? Well, we'd like to see the Father. He said, if you've seen me and you've seen the Father, I am a manifestation of the Father. These works are a manifestation of me, who is a manifestation of the Father, because I am the exact radiance. I am the radiance of the Father. I'm an exact representation of God Himself. Well, show us the Father. You don't understand. I am. So are you. Are you God? No. You're His Son. You're not the only begotten, but you are begotten. Just not the only. You got adopted. It's even better. He looked at you and He's like, you're kind of cute. I'll take you. You know, when you born them, they can be ugly and you got to keep them. But when you adopt them, you get to take the ones you want. Okay, stand up. I know, long message. Put your hand on your head. The other day, I just realized this. The gospel says that you're going to get a new heart and a new mind. I just realized I got a new heart, but I got stuck with the old mind. I only got half the deal. I had to go back to court and get the rest. How many of you need a new mind? How many of you like, oh, yeah, I need to change my way of thinking. Get myself a new set of rules. Put my best foot forward and stop being influenced by fools. That's Bob Dylan. Say, Jesus, I receive a new mind. I'm going to change my way of thinking. I pray for a revelation the eyes of my heart would be open so I could receive a revelation of the kingdom and who I'm supposed to be so I can start acting right. Because my actions are way below my person. And I need to change my actions. So I need a revelation of my person. In Jesus' name, I receive it. I receive my crown. Little crown, but a crown. That I can rule and reign with Him. I receive the kingdom that's going to last forever. I'm going to start thinking like a prince or a princess if I'm a female. In Jesus' name, amen.